day I was up on the mast doing a little bit of work, and I saw this boat come in. I didn't video it, but you know, I just kind of watched them here and there. And they did a nice job of coming in, you know, they even backed in. And everything looked pretty good until they got in the slip. And then the commotion started. Couldn't find the right lines to use. Didn't have a fending pole ready. And I thought to myself, you know, marina hopping, it's a lot of fun. I like to do that, to go visit places and see things. And I've seen some of this stuff happen more often than you would think. You know, and I did a video, maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago about how I set my boat up to go marina hopping. And so I kind of looked through it, and there's a few things I kind of want to add to that and change a little bit to make marina hopping fun like it's supposed to be. So what I like to do before I even head out to the location, actually before I even pick the location, I go to their website, and you know, just about every marina now has a website, get an idea of what the layout is, what's around town, look at the town website, see what's there, get on my chart plotter, look at the entrance, look at the water depth, so I know where I'm going and what it's going to take to get there. And what I'll do too is I'll either bookmark or download the marina map as to what the slip assignments are, because a lot of times you don't get your slip assignment till you're outside the harbor, and then you call in and they'll give you your slip assignment. And if it's someplace you haven't been before, it's a lot easier if you got it printed out. Or what I usually do is I just download it onto my tablet, and then I can look and I can zoom in and see where I'm supposed to go. And then when I get ready to pull into my slip, and usually I'm solo, but lately, you know, Sherry's been going with me on a lot of these, and that's fun. And we got pretty good at this over the years, where I'd get ready to come into a slip, we'd get ready to come into a marina, and Sherry would ask, are we going to have a piling? Are we going to have a cleat? Is it going to be starboard, port? Are we backing in? And a lot of times I wasn't really sure, but if I knew where we were going to go and what we wanted, I'd say, all right, we're going to go stern in, and it's going to be a starboard side tie-up. Well, and she'd get all the lines ready and things, so when we came in, everything was there. This includes, and even when I do solo, I'll set up at least a spring line so that when I'm backing in, I can toss that spring line over a cleat or something, because once I get close to the pier, I'm in pretty good shape after that. You know, the bow and the stern may swing around a little bit, but it's not too bad. The other thing is, I see people coming in, they don't know where the fending pole is. They're trying to run around and find it. Have that at the ready so that you can just grab it. And probably the funniest thing to watch is people trying to toss a line over the piling. And you know, they've got the big, I did a video on this, I'll put it in the description below. You know, they're tossing like this, they're trying to be a cowboy with it. There's an easier way to do this, and I learned this from a skipjack captain, how to toss a line. You get it over the piling or over the cleat. If you want to put it through the eye end, you can, but like when I'm doing transient docking, I don't put the loop tight around the piling or the cleat. I bring it, leave the eye end on the boat, come around and back so that when I'm ready to go, I don't have to be jumping on and off the boat. Just what I like to do, you know, my personal preference. Another thing is, when you go to different marinas, not always sure what their electrical hookups are going to be. Now I have a twin 30 amp panel, two 30 amp panels. So when I go to a marina, I can either do two 30 amp or I carry a 50 amp splitter to hook up, and I also have a 30 amp that goes to my 230 amp. Now the thing with that is I'm not getting 30 amps to both sides of the panel. Marina has the splitter where in the box here it automatically picks which cord to send, or which splitter to send the most electric to, whatever has the most draw. How they do that, I don't know. I guess there's little elves in there doing something. Here again, I've got a video on that, and I'll put the link in there in the description for that, so you can get an idea of how these splitters and all the different things that you can carry on board for your electric. And talking about splitters, I also like to bring a Y connection for the water hookup. You're never sure who's got water hooked up. Sometimes one of the water faucets won't work, and you need to share that with your boat neighbor. So it's a good thing to have. It doesn't take up a lot of space either. The other thing when coming in is get your fenders ready. If you're not sure which side you're going to dock up on, starboard or port, put a fender out on each side. Now I use these flat fenders. They don't roll around and roll up onto the pier. They work really well for me. And although most marinas now have pretty decent Wi-Fi, not all, but most of them understand the importance of having Wi-Fi. But even if it is good Wi-Fi on a busy weekend, you may not get the same strength you really want. So a couple years ago I added a Alpha Network Wi-Fi extender, and it made a big difference. Even at North Point Marina, which was one of my home ports for many years, their Wi-Fi was very good, and I was close to the marina. Well, they had towers on every pier, but on busy weekends sometimes it would be a little, a little slower, but it would still work well. But with the Wi-Fi extender, man, I picked that right up. The key here is, yeah, if you're anchoring out, what good is a Wi-Fi? You could still use a Wi-Fi extender, but you need to know the passcode to one of the nearby Wi-Fi. So if you're at the marina, of course, you're going to get the Wi-Fi password, hook up your extender, and you're going to get a lot better reception. Another thing I like to do while I'm checking out the marina in the town is how do you get around. Now, for example, at Henderson's Wharf in Fells Point, the water taxi is just a block up, or 2 blocks up in Fells Point. So that takes you all around the inner harbor. At North Point Marina, they have bicycles that you can use. And a lot of the facilities have that. There's also, some of the marinas will have a courtesy car, or they provide transportation. The town might have transportation. And that's all good things to know before you get to the marina. And another thing I see happen a lot, and again, more than what you would think, people come into the marina, not so much on the 40+ foot boats, but the smaller boats, they come in, the lines aren't long enough, if they even have lines. So for a few extra dollars, get the longer lines so that when you get to marinas, you're not having to try and tie lines together to make it fit. And again, I've seen that happen where, okay, they get there, they realize the lines are too short, they tie 2 lines together, now they don't have enough lines to tie the boat properly in the slip. So they're running up to the marina store to buy a line. Just have them ready. Have plenty of, my philosophy has been, it's better to have so-called too many lines than not enough lines. And I'm sure there's a lot of other tips. Please feel free to leave a comment below and help us out with this. And I hope this helps. And until next time, guys, happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends.